What is up, everybody? CP and SJ with you for another week of picks here from every day we're covering as we're into week 10 of the college football season here in 2025. Had a bit of a rough pick stretch last week, but we're looking to get back on track, and I think we might have some good ones here for the folks, SJ.
It's been upset city as of late, so that's it's par for the course. It happens. We'll hopefully it happens, just not in the games that we're going to mention here, and we'll still have some fun watching those upsets. But those have been a lot of them. You never see it coming fully, but in these instances, the last couple weeks especially, it seemed even more so, kind of out of left field.
Yeah, it's been a little tough to get it straight here recently, but yeah, we'll see how this week goes. We're gonna start things off. I'm gonna do one here on Friday night, and I guess it's kind of I'm giving the antithesis of my pick from last week because I went South Florida against Memphis and they let me down, and I honestly I still think there was a lot of coaching miscues that helped that along, but still was impressed with the way that Memphis played, especially their quarterback who had been dinged up. So they still able to get that big win, and they've been showing that they can put points up. They continue to put points up week in and week out. They're laying 13.5 on the road at Rice. That's a 6 o'clock game there Friday night, ESPN2. So I'm going to go Memphis. Love that it's under 2 scores. I think that they definitely get there, maybe more, but I'm feeling good about them being able to put some points up on the board there against an overmatched opponent.
Don't think this is going to be a very good game at all, but I'll go to that big noon kickoff to start here with my picks here in Ohio State and Penn State. And man, you thought beginning of the season this you got circled on your calendar. You don't miss this one. Now you might want to be the opposite. Don't worry about checking out on this one. Other than this total here, 43.5, I think that's going to be hit easily, and majority of that coming from Ohio State. And I really kind of sat there and wanted to pick that spread, but even as good as Ohio State's been and as bad as Penn State's been the last few weeks, if they're going to get up for a game, it would be this one. So I just 21s. That's a lot of points to win by in a conference game any week, and we kind of said Ohio State's the one team we would, but I mean I don't know. Penn State's due for like before the wheels completely fall off. They're maybe due for a decent game here, and this could be it if you can't if I guess that'd be the season right here. It kind of make your season. It has not going anywhere fast, kind of going downhill fast. But that would be the one thing with that maybe a little pause. So I'll go ahead and take the total. I still think Ohio State wins easily. Just 21's a little high for my taste there.
Yeah, that's an interesting one to play and watch. I had that one on my list right away too, and I was kind of like just the same thoughts that you had. Like, that's a lot of points, especially against a team that was supposed to be good at one point. And in Ohio State, they've been shown to a few of these games just to kind of cruise their way to the victory at the end of the game. But they have covered almost damn near every week, so I may still sprinkle a little bit on the side there on Ohio State just because they've been good to me so far, just to see if they can do it again. But yeah, that is a tall line to try to get to.
Well, notice you didn't hear anything saying like, "Oh, I'm pretty sure Penn State will cover this." I'm just like, I don't know if Ohio State can, so I'll take the total. I'm expecting a good amount of points still to come from Ohio State's end, so I don't hate taking the line if anybody feels a little more confident.
Yeah. So that's the big noon kickoff, as you mentioned there on Fox. I'm going to go to another early game, and I think this is one we're both on here, SJ. This is just too juicy of a line, I think, to pass up. Vanderbilt at Texas is 11 o'clock kick on ABC. I think a lot of people will be interested just because of upstart way that Vandy has been here this year, but they're getting 2.5 points. And I guess I don't know what the thought process is here of why this team is an underdog and why Vandy shouldn't even be favored, and maybe favored by a little bit the way that the season's gone, in my opinion. So, you're going to give me a couple of points. What the heck? I think Vanderbilt wins this game because they're the better team.
Yeah, I mean, I think Texas has played better the last few weeks overall in spots, not totally. I mean, they still got a lot of issues, but to me, this isn't really about like an anti-Texas picker going against how bad they've been. It's more of that Vanderbilt actually seems as much as legit as they've ever been when it comes to this time of the season. And I mean, I really would like to take this game just straight up win. Take Vanderbilt on the money line, but anywhere I'm looking, it's plus 110. At the most, maybe plus 120 in some books. You're just not getting enough of a return if you want to take those points and give yourself a little cushion there in case something crazy happens and maybe Texas pulls off a field goal or something and you're within that 3-point still window, so you still cover or whatever. So that's that's definitely the smart pick, at least from my end. I think you're kind of along those same lines as well. It's not that I think Texas is going to win by any means. I just think I can't. I mean, but I guess that shows you how you know these favorites and underdogs. Those are just kind of terms we use sometimes because this is a I guess a pick 'em at best in my mind. And honestly, the wrong team would be favored. And I don't know. Maybe I'll mess around here. It gets closer and get crazy and bump up that spread. Do you create your own spread there and get some plus money that way? Because I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, yeah. Vanderbilt's been really consistent, and obviously Pavia is an awesome player that has really got them humming right now. So it should be interesting. I'd be surprised if they stumble here at this juncture. Let's go to another one here. I'm going to move a little bit later in the afternoon. The team, of course, that also has been impressing week in and week out. Indiana taking on Maryland now. I'm not going to the spread here because I still just have like a inch of trepidation, and I think it's just my own. It's my own mental block. It's not anything that Indiana's done wrong. I mean, they've proved time and time again so far that they're as legit as they can be. And every moment they've been tested, they've proven that they can do it. So I don't doubt that they could do that again. But I like the total here because I think Indiana obviously has been putting up points. Maryland, that's their tendency is to try to do that. So 50.5 doesn't seem like a lot to me in this spot because I expect Indiana to put a good chunk up there and Maryland to at least add to it. I don't expect Maryland to win the game, but I think that gets over that total.
Well, they're definitely Maryland's a team that's pretty solid at the quarterback position as well as the skill position. So I could see them, putting up some even in garbage time, a late, you want to call a 20+ point spread a backdoor cover, but you can hit it that way. So yeah, that's the smart play I think, just to go for those totals because there should be plenty of points put up. In a game, I think that there may not be that many points put up, and it could still be a comfortable cover here. Is Washington State going to Oregon State, and I guess the Pac-12 reborn here, 3.5 point favorites. I don't see it being very close at all. This might be an easy. It'll probably be one of my higher confidence picks here this week. Just one of those. Watch a quarter or two, get a comfortable lead, and just kind of cruise. Oregon State's had tons of issues. Of course, start 0-7, fire your coach, and I know they play a little better, but they're not exactly. Those schedules are wonky with how things turned out for those teams. They're playing like Lafayette in the middle of the season and all these random weird teams. So, but I do think Washington State, while their record's not great, where they're 4-4 right now, they've played well in a couple of games and almost pulled a Ole Miss. They had them on the ropes, and they've looked okay. I know it's a loss, but there's still at least at least an average team, and Oregon State is far from that. So we'll go ahead and take that as an easy cover. And like I said, pretty high on the confidence on that one.
Yeah, that's a 6:30 game on CBS. I love that pick too. Like you said, Wazoo. You look at that schedule. Most of their losses are by a couple of points. They've been right in games with a lot of what you would consider more name brand teams, so to speak. So they've done a good job considering the circumstances for sure. I'm going to go to another one a little bit later, 6:30 kickoff on ESPN2. Georgia Tech, I think that they continue to roll here. They have looked really good. Haynes King has obviously been awesome at quarterback. They run the ball so well, and they're playing at an NC State team that just kind of has had the wheels come off. They have not played well at all here recently, and I think this is a good spot for Georgia Tech to cover. They're only laying 5.5. I was kind of surprised the spread was that low. I figured they would have put it at least at a score to make people think about it a little bit more. So I like Georgia Tech to cover in that spot.
I'll go to our, coveted after dark here slot to close out the picks here on my end. And Cincinnati at Utah's. I mean, honestly, one of the games of the week, top to bottom, just when you factor in, implications within the conference, and also just anytime you get two ranked foes, that's always we talked about the rankings. It's always a nice little graphic they can put out there and say, this was. But in this case, it is two pretty solid teams, and I was talking to you ahead of time, and it seems a little bit I mean, I wouldn't say concerned, but it raised my eyebrows at least that it started as an 8.5 point spread. Now it's up to 10.5. So in those instances, you can take two ways of looking at it. It's either something's funky here and the books are onto something, or something, maybe a late injury, late scratch, something like that, or you just think the money's coming in and people don't know what they're talking about. I'm going to go with the latter and hope that because honestly, I just think that Cincinnati is maybe is a better team here. I know Utah's played a tougher schedule, but I think in this case that might go against them. You have some battles and get worn down, and this anybody that's able to put up some points, it seems like that's kind of where you get Utah out of there. Even though they're a good defense, it's hard to do. If you're able to manufacture some offense, sometimes you can run away with things there, and they're not exactly kind of I know they have some blowouts on their end too, but they're not exactly like a consistently potent offensive team, with the exception of a few things here. And I just like the quarterback play a little bit better from the Cincinnati side. I know Sorsby's been like a Heisman candidate for some people, or at least one of the top signal callers here in the country. So I think that maybe gives them a little bit of edge. And with me picking that 10.5 points to cover, I'm not saying Utah is by any means undermanned or outmatched or they couldn't win it. I just don't think that doesn't seem to me very likely for them to win by double digits or more than that on the Utah end. That is. Now I can see Cincinnati getting away. We saw them scoring bunches at times this season. I just don't think that Utah's going to run them off the field. But we shall find out here. Just a little bit before we throw those clocks back, we'll find out who
Yeah.
comes out on top.
Yeah, we'll see if we get it in before we fall back, so to speak. Here, yeah, that's a 9:15 Central start time there on ESPN for that late one. That is where game day is actually there this week as well.
Oh man, that is a early morning. Whew.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
if I'm at
yeah.
that college age and I'm going
Long
to game
day.
day, I'm staying up. I mean, that's a long night. It's not going to be an early morning.
Yeah, that's a long day. That was like when they had the Utah BYU game recently on the Fox game, and they didn't play till later. It's like, man, these people got a long day ahead of them. That's a lot. That's a lot. It's a lot to put up with and be energized still by the end of the night. So, but it should be a fun game. I'm with you there. I just think that that's too many points. It's not that I don't think that Utah could win the game and may win the game, because I have been feeling like at some point Cincinnati is going to stumble again, but still, yeah, that's a lot of points. They're going to stay within a touchdown, I think, here. So that's a good play, especially with that number going up. I like that too. Obviously, if you have input, we'd love to hear from you. Follow us on Twitter. You can see the handles there at SJMBets, at Cherokee CP. We'd love to have your input on what picks you like here this week. And we try to share, of course, our information and our graphics confidence levels with you there as well. If you'd like to tail our picks and find that info out. And of course, we feed out our other information there for you with these pick videos and then the podcast each week as well. So we'd love it if you would like, subscribe, share the podcast, available all the major platforms, including our host at Spotify, and then like, subscribe, get the notifications on the YouTube channel where we'll bring you these video picks each and every week here throughout the year, whatever season it may be. But of course, we have a lot of fun here during college football season. All right, that's our picks for week 10. That's SJ Munoz. I'm Chris Parks. Thanks for joining us for another week of picks here on Every Day We're Covering. We'll see you next time for some more covers.